Alrighty folks, well we got over 6 inches of snow last night and Bryan's out of town enjoying a ski weekend with the boys, so it's up to me to clean up the homestead. So right behind me you can see that snowblower is ready to use. Just gonna pull off the tarp, get that snow off the top, and well, we'll be in business. Well, I hope you didn't get any snow on you. I was pointing it right directly at the camera for a little dramatic effect, but it's definitely fun to do the snow blowing, especially when it's sunny outside and it's kind of warm in the sun. But otherwise in wintertime, not a whole lot of maintenance at the homestead. As you know, we're still a little bit in a holding pattern for the greenhouse. We need that warmer weather to complete the dry-in because it requires taping of the polycarbonate panels. So we need 50-degree weather, a couple of weekends of that at least, to be able to kind of wrap that project up on the outside. But I have been wanting to share some news with you that I've been keeping a secret since the beginning of the year, actually. A couple of you've already found out. I think you've already found me, but I've created a second channel on YouTube dedicated to greenhouse and gardening and some of the projects that I enjoy, like artwork and food and that type of thing. So if you're curious and if you've come to Colorado Mountain Living to learn more about the greenhouse, definitely check out my channel, Planting Joy, because I've already started topics about gardening. I've got some hydroponics going. Don't worry, Colorado Mountain Living's not going anywhere. This channel is just going to stay dedicated to those topics about tools and trucks and tractors and building projects. You'll still see that greenhouse get built, but all the individual gardening projects and all the flower purchases and all of that stuff, a lot more of that content will be on my other channel. So definitely check it out. I'd love for you guys to subscribe. Leave me some comments. You know, it's always good for YouTube algorithm performances to have some interaction on a brand new channel. The only other major projects I've got going on this winter are getting a head start on some of the gardening, because I want to get a jump start. I want to have stuff ready to put into the greenhouse. And I have a really unusual way to start seeds in the snow in the wintertime here. It's called winter sowing. Check it out. Let me know if you've ever heard of it before. And if not, maybe it's something you can give a try this year. After you try this method, you're never going to want to go back to indoor seed trays again. I can't believe I was today years old when I finally heard about winter sowing. Well, today I'm going to break it down for you just how easy, simple, and efficient this method is to sow seeds in the wintertime so you can have the hardiest seedlings possible in the spring. And this is all you're going to need to get started winter sowing today. All right, general potting soil, you don't need the moisture control kind, and containers. So this method is a moist germination method. That means it's going to need something like a mini greenhouse environment, and a milk jug or water jug works perfectly. You definitely want the translucent kind, not the white opaque kind. You want the light to be able to get in, and you're going to need drainage holes in the bottom, so be prepared to drill some holes out like I did. This is a kimchi jar, and it has a screw top, so that's going to need additional holes in the top. Now with the milk jug or the water jug, that hole's all you need because that can let any precipitation through. And then your seeds. I only have 8 containers available to me today, so I picked out 8 seed packets. Now this method works for all seeds in a temperate climate, so you're basically only avoiding growing tropical plants. The other thing that you have to do if you have a water or milk jug is you're going to have to cut it in half to be able to easily put the soil in all the way around. You want to be able to hold about 3 inches of soil in your container. When the containers are prepped, let's put some seeds in. So the goal of winter sowing is to produce seedlings that are super tolerant of temperature fluctuations. They're very hardy, they're already hardened off, and they withstand transplantation very well. You're also going to get more production from your seeds because you're growing them in a protected environment. So there's not going to be any water runoff or birds or critters eating the seeds like you get when you do direct sowing. I do a lot of direct sowing in my environment, and I always wonder, you know, what percentage of seeds actually sprouted. Well, you get a very high yield with this method from what I've seen. For sowing the seeds, it's as simple as sprinkling and then pressing with your hands. No need to bury them, and I'm dumping in full seed packets with each one. Some of them have 20, some of them have 50. So the weather requirements, it's called winter sowing because you do need freezing temperatures at night. If you've got several more weeks of winter in front of you and it's kind of driving you stir crazy like me, it's what a relief to think about winter sowing. It's like I can get a head start on my seedlings and I don't need to have all that space inside dedicated to seed trays. And I know that the seeds I'm producing, they're going to be very, very rugged and they're going to transplant very well. And the cool thing is that there's no specific timetable. You don't have to do it by a certain date. You don't have to worry about frost dates. If you still have several weeks ahead of you with nighttime temperatures below 50 degrees, you can still do winter sowing. It's not too late. I'll be adding more containers throughout the winter. And today I'm starting with flowers, but I'm going to be adding vegetables next. After sowing your seeds, you want to tape your containers closed well. I'm showing clear tape, but do not use this. You want a really good seal, so I recommend using duct tape. This will help create that greenhouse environment for your seeds. Once all your seeds are in and you tape them all up, that is it. That's how simple it is. You want to be checking on these probably weekly just to make sure there's condensation inside. You don't want them to dry out. So if the rest of your winter is super dry, you're going to make sure your seeds stay moist. And that's really all you have to do until you start to see some sprouts. And when we get to that point, I'll tell you what to do. It's probably going to be several weeks before we get anything. The other thing about placing your containers outside is you want to put them in a place where nobody's going to get into them. So no animals or children, they're not going to get disturbed. So out here on the deck, perfect place. I'm not going to get any kind of curious critters digging through. My dog's not going to knock them over. My husband's not going to knock them over. So just put them somewhere where they're going to be able to get sunlight and precipitation. Apparently, they start to germinate when Mother Nature dictates. So isn't that cool? I'm super curious about this method. Like I said, I've never done it before. I can't wait to see what happens. So I'll definitely keep you posted. And although there might not be a lot of activity for several weeks, I'm definitely going to have more activity going on in my hydroponics. I'm going to do weekly updates on that. So definitely stay tuned to see how indoor growing is going. But let me know, are you going to try winter sowing? And if so, what are you going to grow? Here's to a healthy garden this year with some strong seedlings. Winter sowing for the win. Well, hopefully you found some useful information about winter sowing. Maybe it's something you can give a try at your house. If you still got plenty of weeks left of cold weather, you can definitely do it. Hopefully Bryan's getting to enjoy his break from the homestead on a ski weekend and enjoying all this nice sun. And maybe the driveway will be all clear by the time he gets home. And next time we're going to update you with another truck upgrade for Bryan. And he's got some ideas about what to do with the Kimbo. I know he's got some ideas for some Kimbo upgrades. So stay tuned. We'll see you next time. Take care.